This out of the way. Get everybody over here. Enough room over there, guys? Okay. All right. Good morning. I'm Rich Gaitis, Executive Director of the City of Chicago's Office of Emergency Management and Communications. Today marks the official start to winter, and in the next few days, we are expecting dangerously cold temperatures and a winter storm with high winds and blizzard-like conditions. The National Weather Service in Chicago has issued a winter storm warning from Thursday afternoon through Saturday morning, with forecasted winds up to 50 miles an hour and wind chills as low as 25 below zero are likely. We have a representative from the National Weather Service here today who will provide a briefing momentarily. OEMC is coordinating the city's response efforts, and we want to ensure residents that the City of Chicago has services and resources available to help everyone cope safely. We want to ensure that our residents are prepared and encourage everyone to use caution, plan accordingly, and factor in potentially hazardous driving conditions on the roads if you must travel. OEMC hosts twice daily conference calls with our citywide partners to stay connected and adjust resources as needed. These standing conference calls happen 7 days a week, regardless of what is happening in the city, to ensure situational awareness amongst our agencies. To keep residents and businesses up to date on weather conditions and emergencies, OEMC will issue text alerts and notifications across several platforms. Residents can sign up to receive notifications at chicago.gov/OEMC, and they include Notify Chicago, Chi Lake, and Chi Biz. As the city braces for this dangerous winter storm, it's critical for residents to be patient, take care of themselves, and to look out for each other. We encourage you to check on your neighbors, family members, pets, and friends, particularly those who are elderly or have disabilities. Staying connected is key to being safe. For those seeking shelter from the cold, call 311. Visit 311.chicago.gov or download the Chi 311 app to be connected with available services and to learn about the city's designated warming centers, which you'll hear more about from the Department of Family and Support Services. Again, if you must travel, before leaving the house, please be mindful of forecasted cold temperatures, snowy precipitation, and high winds. It is also important to let friends and family know of your plans and where you're heading. Motorists should take extra precautions to winterize vehicles, have a full tank of gas, an emergency kit with necessary supplies like water, blankets, flashlight, and other items that you may need if you become stranded. Taking preventive action in advance is the best way to stay safe from the risks associated with this storm. Motorists should also allow extra room between cars and to yield to emergency vehicles, snow plows, and other public safety personnel on the road. Cold weather should not only be considered a nuisance, it can be extremely dangerous if not prepared. We encourage all of you to be patient. If you have to be outdoors, it is important to wear loose, layered, warm clothes. Keep your head, hands, and feet covered when outdoors, and watch for signs of frostbite. For information on winter weather preparedness tips, I encourage everyone to visit OEMC's website, chicago.gov/OEMC, and to follow us on social media. I'd like to thank all the City of Chicago departments, agencies, and organizations, from our call takers and dispatchers, first responders, to our workers who are out in these extreme conditions. Our city workers and partners are our first line of defense in keeping our city safe. I want to stress to those of you working in the field, please be mindful of the forecasted cold temperatures, snowy precipitation, and blustery winds. Your safety and well-being is our priority. I want to wish all of you a safe and happy holiday. I'd now like to introduce Mike Bardot, meteorologist for the National Weather Service. Mike. Oh.
Thank you, Director Gaitis. Again, my name is Mike Bardot. I'm from the Chicago National Weather Service office, and there's several key points that we want to make before we go into a little bit of detail. As Director Gaitis outlined, we have kind of multiple elements of winter weather that we're concerned about, between increasing winds, Bitterly cold temperatures, a steep temperature drop tomorrow afternoon, as well as some snowfall that's going to create blowing and drifting and perhaps some visibility issues, especially as you go into tomorrow. One of the highlights is that the commute time from any time beyond noon tomorrow afternoon, going through our traditional evening commute into the evening hours, is expected to be during the worst conditions of falling temperatures, increasing winds, and snowfall. As outlined, it's a big travel weekend. Those traveling beyond Chicago especially, we're very concerned about travel outside of the city with near blizzard conditions expected, especially as folks travel regionally for the holiday. Indiana and Michigan are looking particularly dangerous for travel. We want to make people aware that if they become potentially stranded, that if they're stranded for a few hours or more, they're also going to be stranded in extreme winds, extreme wind chills, single-digit temperatures, and so forth. So we want people to be prepared for that. The snow does not last all that long. It probably ends early in the day on Friday, but the bitter cold and the bitter wind chills are going to last all the way into Saturday. So as far as the timing details, tomorrow morning and through about this time tomorrow, it looks very much like it does today. Temperatures will probably be right above freezing. Cloudy, we might start to see a little bit of drizzle or maybe light snow that occurs before the Arctic cold front that we're focusing on. By around noon, we expect the cold front to be passing through the Chicago metro area. And we expect temperatures to fall rapidly between about noon and 2 on the order of 20 to 25 degrees. So if we're around 35 or so, we're going to be rapidly into the teens. Snow will begin to fall right as that front passes and temperatures fall. Our concern is that any moisture that occurs in the morning, any wet spots, whether it's on sidewalks, roadways, will rapidly freeze over because temperatures are going to fall very quickly as the winds pick up. And then the snow is going to begin to fall. So it could create a period of treacherous travel. By the time we get to 2 or 3 p.m. Tomorrow afternoon, the temperature is probably going to be around 15 or 20 degrees. The winds will have shifted from blowing from the south to blowing from the west-northwest and increased to around 15 to 25 miles per hour with gusts of 35 or more. And wind chills will be probably around 10 degrees. Further deterioration is expected by the time the workday ends around 5 o'clock. We expect the temperature to be around 10 degrees. Snow will continue to be falling, most likely. We expect probably anywhere between 2 and 4 inches of snow from when the snow starts sometime around noon or after until around the 5 or 6 p.m. time frame. And we're going to keep the winds increasing 20 to 30 miles per hour with gusts to maybe 40, and those wind chills will continue to fall to around 0 or 5 below by 5 p.m. And conditions continue to worsen in terms of temperatures falling through the evening on Thursday. The snow will probably continue at a lower intensity with a little bit of new accumulation, but the winds will be increasing to 35 to 40 with gusts over 50 as we go into Thursday evening. That's going to blow the snow around very easily, create visibility issues, and temperatures are going to fall to around 0 with wind chills approaching 20 to 25 below 0 Thursday evening. Temperatures stay right around 0 Friday, even into Saturday. There's not going to be much change in temperature. The winds are going to further increase into Friday morning when we may see gusts over 50 miles per hour. Any snow that's left will be blowing around. We do not expect much falling snow by Friday morning, but blowing snow, it doesn't take a lot of snow to blow around and keep the roads in a dangerous situation, as well as very low visibility. And again, the extreme wind chills will minimize to around minus 30, minus 25 to minus 30 degrees Friday morning, and then we're going to stay in that minus 20 to 25 range through much of the day Friday. Saturday is not much better, though the winds start to gradually ease up. Wind chills will stay below 0. Temperatures will be around 0. And then for Sunday, we do expect a bit of a moderation. Highs should warm into the teens, around 14 degrees. Winds will be lighter, but the wind chills will still be a very cold factor despite the light winds. So again, the combination of conditions is making for a very dangerous period, especially if you're traveling or have to spend any time outside. Be sure to take the precautions that Director Gaitis has outlined. Thank you.
Morning, everybody. My name is Cole Stallard. I'm the Commissioner of the Department of Streets and Sanitation. First and foremost, safety is our top priority at Streets and Sand during events like this. We work year-round to develop our snow program, and we have stayed connected with our city partners this week to ensure we are fully prepared for the weather predictions starting tomorrow. We consistently talk with the unions and their members, which are our employees, on the importance of the roles they serve, especially during winter events like this. Thanks to AIS, our 300-plus salt spreaders and our fleet are prepared to respond to any snow and ice when it begins this week. We have been working with the Chicago Department of Transportation and Water Management, along with our private vendors, who together are on call if we need to add our snow removal resources. So we have the ability to put 300 pieces of equipment out on the street. We can call our friends at our other departments and our private vendors to bring that number up over 750 if need be. In the coming days, we will closely monitor and adjust our resources before, during, and after the snow based on what's happening to the streets. We also have more than 400,000 tons of salt on the ground at different salt piles throughout the city. Please check our Department of Streets and Sanitation Facebook and Twitter accounts for deployment updates. I'd like to encourage Chicago residents to be neighborly. Do what Chicago does best. Reach out to your elderly neighbors and others that may require assistance, please. I'd also like to again remind residents with the holidays coming in, people coming in and visiting your friends and family, the overnight parking ban went in effect on December 1st, and it runs through April 1st of 2023. Parking is restricted on 107 city miles between 3 a.m. and 7 a.m. on major roadways, regardless of snow, until April 1st. The city implements this ban to help ensure the roads are safe and passable for emergency vehicles, public transportation, and other travelers during winter weather events like the one we're expecting tomorrow. Please double check all posted signs before you park to avoid being ticketed and towed. Streets and Sand also has an enhanced snowplow tracker at chicagoshovels.org, where residents can track our snowplow vehicles in real time. Thank you in advance to all the city departments and the staff who will be out working in this snow and frigid cold temperatures. At this time, I would like to introduce Brandy Kanazi, Commissioner of the Chicago Department of Family and Sport Services. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Stollard. Good morning. My name is Brandy Kanazi, and it is my privilege and honor to lead the Chicago Department of Family and Support Services. As you know, nearly every year, the city of Chicago experiences bitter and harsh winters, sometimes even dangerous weather. Throughout the upcoming storm, DFSS will provide assistance to our most vulnerable residents with the help of warming centers, transportation to shelters, and response to well-being check requests. DFSS activates warming centers at our 6 community service centers when temperatures are at 32 degrees or below, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Anyone seeking respite from the cold can access these centers. One of the facilities, the Garfield Community Service Center, located at 10 South Kedzie, is open 24 hours a day to connect residents to shelter. There's also a network of city facilities such as police stations, park districts, libraries that are available to residents, providing a space where people can go for relief from the cold. For DFSS warming center addresses, you may call 311 or visit the Chicago Department of Family and Support Services website at chicago.gov/FSS for multiple flyers in English, Spanish, and Polish. DFSS also remains committed to supporting unsheltered residents during the cold. During the winter months, DFSS works with more than 50 delegate agencies and nonprofit partners to provide shelter and ensure that homeless individuals in our communities remain safe. Over the next several days and nights, multiple outreach teams will be on the street visiting encampments, encouraging residents to take shelter and make sure that they are okay. DFSS has also expanded hours for shelters that typically operate for 12 hours a day to remain open for 24 hours, providing expanded services including food, shelter, and warmth. Transportation to shelter is available to residents who need assistance by calling 311. Please remember, it is not illegal for homeless to be homeless or live on the street, and DFSS cannot force people to come inside. For our elderly residents, DFSS also activates 21 warming centers at our senior service centers. These locations will also be open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. I want to encourage our seniors to stay home if you can and to avoid dangerous road conditions during the storm. Please pick up your prescriptions and run any needed errands for food or other supplies by Thursday morning. If you experience a life-threatening emergency during the storm, please call 911. Our home-delivered meals drivers will be committed to ensuring that over 7,500 seniors who receive food weekly will receive their meals during the anticipated storm. Drivers will also be on the lookout, checking on seniors to make sure they are not in distress. I encourage everyone to check on your friends, families, and neighbors, especially our isolated seniors. A simple call can mean so much and save a life. If you know of a senior whose health, safety, or general well-being is in question, please call 311 so that we may reach out with a well-being check. Again, we can call 311 for well-being checks. Now I'd like to pass it to Commissioner Baudet. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kanazi. Good morning, everyone. And on behalf of Mayor Lightfoot and my colleagues, I want to thank you for coming to share this important information with our fellow Chicagoans. I'm Matt Baudet, Commissioner of the Department of Buildings. The Department of Buildings enforces the Chicago Heat Ordinance, which mandates that landlords supply heat to rental units or any units where the owners do not have individual control of the heat from September 15th through June 1st. The ordinance requires temperatures inside a rental residence to be at least 68 degrees from 8:30 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. and at least 66 degrees from 10:30 p.m. to 8:30 a.m. Landlords face fines of $500 to $1,000 per violation per day if they do not supply adequate heat. System malfunctions is not an excuse. Landlords must follow the law, and apartments must be heated. Throughout the heat season, we remind landlords and property managers to ensure that they are providing proper maintenance to their heating systems and to check those heating systems to make sure that they're functioning properly to prevent any emergency failures. If you're a renter and your landlord is not providing adequate heat or providing no heat at all, please immediately call 311. The Department of Buildings will respond. We will be out there to check your heating system to make sure that it is functioning adequately. And if not, we will take immediate action against landlords or property managers that are failing to do so. We also work closely with Commissioner Kanazi and the Department of Family Support Services in case we need to relocate any tenant whose system cannot be immediately restored. So we work with them for relocation. And again, the goal is to make sure that everybody is safe. Nobody needs to stay in a freezing apartment. Along with the Chicago Fire Department, I want to stress, in no uncertain terms should people use ovens or stoves as a heating system. Again, I repeat, do not use ovens and stoves to heat your apartments. That is a fire risk. It's also a carbon monoxide risk. So do not put yourself or your families in jeopardy when you have resources at the city that you can call immediately and we can get you that help that you need. Also, please make sure that you have working smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors, especially with snow drifts that could block vents. Make sure those are working. Those are inexpensive. Batteries are easy to obtain. Please check your systems to make sure that they're working before the storm hits. Again, smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors save lives. If there are high snow drifts, please check your exterior vents. For instance, your dryer vents to make sure it's not covered up. If it's covered up by a snow drift, that could have carbon monoxide back into your house. Again, another reason to have working smoke and carbon detectors. Also make sure that your doorways and your exterior doorways are clear of snow in case you need to exit the building. Please do not attempt to remove snow from roofs. Do not go on top of your roofs. Chicago roofs are made to hold snow. They're also natural insulation for the home. So please, there's no need to go up on a roof and try to remove snow. You're not only gonna damage your roof, you're gonna put yourself in a pretty bad risk of falling off the roof. Also, do not try to pull snow off of roofs with poles and other instruments. All you're doing is pulling sheets of ice and snow down on your head. So please don't do that. If you are concerned about snow on the roof, and you want to get it removed, please call a professional roofer. They are trained and experienced and they are equipped to do this work safely. With the threat of dangerous temperatures and high winds, we ask that exterior construction activity be limited. We also alert all contractors that they need to secure their fencing, scaffolding, and construction materials so they are not blown off or blown down. Also, we encourage folks to make sure that there is sufficient heat in their residence, not just for themselves, but to make sure that the water pipes do not freeze and burst. And for owners of vacant properties, you still have the legal obligation to clear the snow off the sidewalks in front of your vacant properties and to make sure that your properties are adequately heated so your pipes are not freezing and bursting. Finally, I want to reiterate the thoughts of all my colleagues at Mayor Lightfoot. We have well-established protocols and are prepared as a team with all hands on deck to handle severe weather as we do every year. Please remember to check on your family and friends and neighbors, especially those with special needs as well as seniors. And also please keep your pets inside. Stay safe and look after each other. Thank you, and now it is my pleasure to introduce Commissioner Gia Biaggi from the Department of Transportation.
Thank you, Commissioner. So I'm Gia Biaggi, Commissioner of the Chicago Department of Transportation, and as others have said, safety is our top priority as we prepare for the winter storm. And as you've heard, and as we all know, winter weather can be challenging for all Chicagoans, especially when you need to get somewhere. So we've been working very closely with the Department of Streets and Sanitation and all the agencies that you see here today to ensure that Chicagoans can move around safely after snow and ice events. We want to remind residents about the importance of shoveling sidewalks after snowstorms. We have about 7,400 miles of sidewalks in Chicago, and keeping them clear and accessible it's a shared responsibility. We all need to pitch in. It's neighborly, as you heard our Commissioner of Streets and Sanitation say. It's neighborly, it's also the law. Property owners are required to clear a path that's at least 5 feet wide on all sidewalks adjacent to their property, including crosswalk ramps. If you are responsible for a corner lot, you must remove snow and ice from sidewalks on all sides of your building and from the corner sidewalk ramps. It's critical. This applies to residential properties and business owners. Snow should not be shoveled into the public right-of-way. This includes not shoveling it into CTA transit stops, bus pads, parking spaces, certainly not bike lanes, bike racks, divvy stations, and any other space where snow impedes traffic of any kind. Individuals found pushing snow into the public right-of-way may be subject to a citation. If you see an unshoveled sidewalk, you can either shovel it, do your neighbor a favor, or you can report it through the 311 system by phone or using a SHI 311 app. CDOT is also pitching in with the Department of Streets and Sanitation, and we are responsible for salting and plowing nearly 40 miles of barrier-protected bike lanes throughout the city. This takes specialized equipment, small enough to clear those lanes, and the good news is that we are expanding our fleet of this equipment so we can more efficiently clear out those lanes. We're also responsible for clearing snow off of the sidewalks of downtown bridges and the bridges along the Calumet River. So finally, storms like this mean that CDOT and crews and folks as part of all the departments you see here today and other folks who need to be out and about, they're doing their jobs in a difficult condition. If you're driving, please slow down, drive slowly, look out for pedestrians, look out for cyclists. This is for your safety and for others. So now it's my pleasure to introduce the Commissioner of the Department of Water Management, Commissioner Chang.
Thank you, Commissioner Biaggi. Good morning, I'm Andrea Chang, Commissioner for the Department of Water Management. I wanted to remind everyone that prolonged frigid temperatures put pipes at risk of freezing, both outside and inside. Here are 4 tips to help prevent expensive repairs resulting from your interior plumbing freezing and bursting. Number 1, of course, keep your home adequately heated. If you can keep it heated, hopefully the pipes won't freeze. Number 2, please make sure that warm air can circulate under cabinets and in areas where there is plumbing within the outside walls. Number 3, keep a trickle of water running at the faucet farthest from where the water main line enters your home. A small trickle of water can prevent thousands of dollars in property damage. And number 4, if you do have a pipe freeze, please use a blow dryer or a heating pad to thaw it and not an open flame. Lastly, if the underground water service line that carries water from the street into your home freezes or breaks, please call 311 so one of our investigators can determine the location of the break or leak and assist. The Department of Water Management will follow up to coordinate replacing any lead service lines that break or leak. And we really hope that everyone keeps that in mind to avoid pipes bursting this winter. Thank you. And next up is Annette Nance-Holt, Commissioner of the Chicago Fire Department.
Thank you, Commissioner Chang. Good morning. The fire department has plans in place to deal with the upcoming winter weather system that has been forecasted to hit us tomorrow. To make sure we have adequate manpower to deal with the challenges of heavy snow and low temperatures, we will make several operational changes. Some you will not see and some you will see. For any reported fire on a residential or commercial property, additional fire resources will be allocated. Any medical emergency call will have additional engine or truck dispatched with the ambulance to provide additional personnel for moving patients in heavy snow and ice conditions. We are adding ambulances across the city as the snow will impact response times. Now, there are things that we are asking you to do to help us as well. So in heavy snow conditions, we can lose time locating fire hydrants. So if you have a fire hydrant on your block or in front of your residence, please clear it out for us. And if you can't clear it out because it's too much snow, put a stick or some type identifying marker in there for the fire department to find when they come. Please remember to make sure you have a working smoke detector and carbon monoxide detector, very important in weather like this. As always, we encourage you to have them. If you don't, please call 311 and we can help you. And please have your furnace checked out if you haven't already done so. I know it's kind of late, but you also need to make sure that it's in working order because it'll be working harder since it's cold out, and we don't want you to have carbon monoxide. If you need to use a space heater, please ensure to use this safely. Keep it 3 feet away from anything that may catch fire, anything, just keep it away. Don't use extension cords, and never put any cord from a space heater under a rug or a carpet where it could get hot. Also, never use your stove or your oven to heat your home. This can cause carbon monoxide to build up and become deadly. If you are having problems with heat, please call 311 again. And remember, you may lose power. Please keep a cell phone charged so that in an emergency, you can call 911 for help. Finally, remember to check in on your neighbors, especially the elderly or anyone else who you know needs assistance. Thank you and have a safe and happy holiday. Now I would like to introduce Andrew Velasquez, the First Deputy Commissioner of Aviation. Thank you.
Thank you, Fire Commissioner Nance-Holt. Good morning to you all. My name is Andrew Velasquez. I serve as First Deputy Aviation Commissioner for the Chicago Department of Aviation. As you all know, O'Hare and Midway International Airports play a vital role in connecting to Chicago to the world and the world to Chicago. And there is no time of the year when that role is more critical. About 2.9 million people will travel through Chicago's airports over the next 12 days, many of them on their way to celebrate the holidays with loved ones. At the Chicago Department of Aviation, our highest priority, as you heard here today with all these departments, is to create a safe, secure, and efficient environment for each and every one of them. That's why we spend the summer months preparing for the coming winter by hiring hundreds of seasonal staff and stocking up on key supplies. More than 700 CDA employees will work shifts round the clock over the next several days to keep our runways and taxiways clear. These hardworking individuals will have at their disposal more than 350 pieces of snow removal equipment, more than 400,000 gallons of liquid de-icer for runways and taxiways, and more than 5,000 tons of salt for airport runways. Snow operations at O'Hare also improved dramatically during the pandemic with the opening of our central de-icing facility, which streamlines operations at one of the world's busiest cold weather airports. This facility gives the airlines the option to de-ice their aircraft closer to departure as many as 20 narrow-bodied aircraft at a time. This facility is the size of 17 football fields, and it's the largest facility of its kind in North America, freeing up valuable gate space and improving safety in the process. With the support of Mayor Lori Lightfoot and CDA Commissioner Jamie Rhee, our hardworking staff, and our partners at the airlines and the FAA, Chicago's airports are prepared to do our part to reduce delays in spite of the storm. That said, travelers must stay alert to changing conditions. We joined the Transportation Security Administration in encouraging passengers to arrive at the airports 2 hours early for domestic flights and 3 hours early for international flights to ensure adequate time for ticketing, baggage check, security screening, and travel to the airline gate. And given the pending storm, we encourage travelers to check flight status with their airline before leaving for the airport. Also, you can download your airline's mobile application, American, United, Southwest, Delta, Spirit, Frontier, to name a few. Each of them has an app that you can add to your phone that can send you notifications when and if the airline decides to delay, cancel, or rebook your flight. Finally, if you're picking up passengers at O'Hare or Midway, please consider waiting for a call from your loved ones at one of our cell phone lots available at both airports. At O'Hare, that's located at 560 North Bessie Coleman Drive. At Midway, it's located at 61st and Cicero. It's one of the most significant actions that Chicagoans can take to help us reduce congestion in the terminals and arrival lanes. Happy to take questions, but for now, I'll turn it over to Pedro Martinez, CEO of the Chicago Public Schools.
Thank you, Andrew. As my colleagues have said, nothing is more important to us than the safety of our students and staff. We've been monitoring the weather extremely closely for the past few days, and we're relying on the expertise of our partners who are standing here this morning so that we can make the best decisions possible for Thursday. Here's the important information that CPS families need to know. Schools will be open as usual tomorrow, with all students receiving a full day of instruction. Let me say that again. Schools will be open tomorrow for a full day of instruction on Thursday, December 22nd. However, all after school, aftercare, and other out-of-school time programming has been canceled for Thursday. So please plan accordingly to ensure your students are picked up when school dismisses. As a reminder, Friday, December 23rd is already scheduled as a non-attendance student day for students. So please do not send your children to school on Friday. Many of our students count on their schools for more than education. They rely on us for meals, for warmth, adult supervision, while parents and guardians are at work. I am glad that we will be able to provide that for our children on Thursday as the storm reaches Chicago. Our dedicated custodians and building engineers will be working to make sure that all schools are warm, dry, and safe as this winter storm approaches, including clearing the snow from walkways and parking lots as quickly as possible when it begins to fall. I wish all of our CPS families a very happy holiday season, and now I'd like to turn it over to our partners at ComEd with Enya Tangela.
Good morning, I'm Tangela Enya with ComEd. ComEd is preparing for the severe weather we're expected to move through our area on Thursday and Friday. And preparation, we're opening our Emergency Operations Center tomorrow at Friday at 5 a.m. Leading up to that, we've already begun positioning equipment and scheduling crews so that we can be in the best position possible to respond to any interruptions. We've also secured an additional 350 line workers from other utilities who will be on the system helping with restoration. We know this is a difficult time for our customers who are hoping to spend time with family and friends during the holidays. We will be working to restore customers as quickly and safely as possible. When responding to outages caused by storms, ComEd's priority is to restore critical facilities first. That includes police and fire stations, as well as nursing homes and hospitals. Tree and pole damage can take longer to repair as it takes time to safely clear debris in impacted areas and bring equipment so repairs can be made. Public safety is paramount. ComEd encourages customers to take the following precautions. If a downed power line is spotted, immediately call ComEd at 1-800-EDISON. Spanish-speaking customers should call 1-800-95-LUCES. Never approach a downed power line. Always assume a power line is extremely dangerous and energized. In event of an outage, do not approach ComEd crews working to restore power to ask about restoration times. Crews may be working on live electrical lines, and the perimeter of the work zone may be hazardous. Customers who are out of their homes but want to keep track of their outages can text OUT to 266-333 to report their outage and to receive restoration information, to follow up, and can follow up with the company on Twitter at ComEd or on Facebook or Twitter to stay up to date at the latest ComEd restoration information. Again, we would like to thank our customers for their patience and let them know that we are committed to bringing them back up in power as quickly and safely as possible. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Charlie Graham with Peoples Gas.
Thank you and good morning. My name is Charlie Graham. I'm the Director of Field Support for Peoples Gas. Thank you to the Chicago Office of Emergency Management and Communication for your preparedness and your coordination for the wide range of important stakeholders as the winter storm approaches our city. Thank you as well to all City of Chicago officials and team members who are in this room right now, and to those working all across the city. The safe and reliable delivery of natural gas and energy to heat Chicago homes and businesses is our top priority at Peoples Gas. Our highly skilled crew members maintain and modernize the system every day so that Chicagoans have heat when they need it most on the coldest winter days. It looks like some of those days are headed our way right now. As always, we are ready for them. Our crews are prepared 24 hours a day to meet any challenges related to the winter storm. Depending on the exact severity of the weather and how it affects the ability to travel around the city, we are prepared to switch from our normal operations to an emergency operations plan. In such an event, we would focus exclusively on responding to any emergency situation that might occur and require our attention. There are also some simple steps Peoples Gas customers can take to help ensure safety and service reliability at their homes and businesses during the storm and afterwards. If you smell gas or you think a gas line is damaged, leave the area immediately, and from a safe location, call Peoples Gas. The number to call is 866-556-6002. That number is also on our website at peoplesgasdelivery.com. Never use a stove or an oven to heat your home. It could lead to carbon monoxide poisoning. Make sure you have working carbon monoxide and smoke detectors. Understand the dangers and symptoms of carbon monoxide. If carbon monoxide poisoning is suspected, get everyone out of the house. Go someplace you know is safe and call 911 or emergency medical help immediately. We ask that you keep the area around your furnace and water heater clear from clutter and any flammable items. Following the storm, if your gas meter is outside, please keep the walkway leading to the meter clear for accessibility in an emergency. That's both for our crews and also the fire department. Also, if your meter is outside and if you can safely access it after the storm has passed, gently remove any snow and ice covering it, either by hand or with a broom. And remove overhead icicles to prevent dripping water from freezing on your natural gas meters and your pipes. For any Chicagoans struggling to keep up with their bills for the heat, Peoples Gas is here to help. Customers may qualify for financial assistance. Bill payment assistance is available through the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program and also through the Share the Warmth program. To see if they are eligible and apply, People's Gas customers can contact the Community Economic Development Association. The phone number there is 800-571-2332, and the website to go to is ceda.org. That's ceda.org.net. People's Gas will also work with any customers to arrange a payment plan that best fits their needs. We can also set up budget billing that helps keep bills stable from month to month. And to discuss these options, customers can call People's Gas or go to peoplesgasdelivery.com. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you once again to all our speakers here today. And again, the mayor wanted to make sure we got in front of this today, especially leading into this weekend's holiday. So, any questions?
Liceo Martinez, can we repeat the information for CPS families in Spanish? That's it.
No, gracias. Quiero que nuestras familias sepan que la prioridad es la seguridad de nuestros niños. Esta semana, porque estamos anticipando más nieve, va a estar más frío y vamos, todavía las clases van a estar normal para el día de jueves, el diciembre 22. Empezamos al mismo tiempo, también vamos a salir a los mismos tiempos, pero programas después de la escuela el jueves van a estar cancelados. Y por favor, padres, para el viernes no tenemos clases, pues por favor no manden a sus niños a las escuelas, pero este jueves vamos a tener los programas normal, pero vamos a cancelar programas después de la escuela. As I said earlier, for our families, there's nothing a higher priority than the safety of our children. Thursday we'll have normal classes, normal starting times and end times, but we are canceling all after-school programs and out-of-school time. And again, a reminder for Friday, we will not have, it's scheduled to be a non-attendance day for students, so please keep your children at home.
CEO Martinez, while you're there seemed to be, I'm a CPS parent, but there seemed to be an indication in a email yesterday that it might be early dismissal tomorrow. Is that the case?
Yeah, so we wanted to just let parents know that we were looking at weather conditions today. And so as we talk to our partners, as you know, so many of our children count on our schools for more than just academics. They really count on them for warmth, for safety, for nutrition. It takes a lot for us to change our schedule because it's a big ask for families. Families always, of course, we have a process now when any family wants to pick up their children early. We never prevent that. But many of our families can't do that. And so we looked at the weather conditions. We felt that it was still safe enough for us to end at our normal times. But out of precaution, we decided to cancel after-school programs. Sabemos que nuestros padres, nuestros niños cuentan mucho con nuestras escuelas, no más académicamente, pero también para comer, para tener un lugar donde van a estar seguros. Para hacer un cambio para padres tiene que pasar algo muy, muy extremo aquí en Chicago. Y padres siempre tienen la opción de levantar a sus niños temprano. Tenemos un proceso, pueden trabajar con su escuela, pero para mañana lo que queremos los programas que estén normales y nomás vamos a cancelar los programas después de escuela.
I have another question, not for CEO Martinez, but for Commissioner Kanazi. Are you doing anything, and I'm sorry if I missed it, are you doing anything differently starting tomorrow when it comes to reaching out to people, to the people who are living on the street? Are you adding crews, delivering any food, anything like that? And could you be more specific about what you might be doing differently beginning tomorrow evening?
So we'll have overnight teams. Our night owl teams will be out. We've increased the number of teams and we're still adding going into the holiday weekend. Individuals will be checking to make sure they're okay. If they need medical assistance, connecting them with that, as well as providing hats, gloves, scarves, things to keep them warm.
And then one last question from me, thank you. This is for Commissioner Velazquez. Where'd he go? I know it's not up to the Department of Aviation when it comes to canceling flights, but that's the airlines. But as we've seen in the past, sometimes lots of people get stranded at the airports, especially O'Hare. Are you prepared for stranded passengers in terms of cots and amenities and stuff like that?
So I'll start with just addressing your first question with regard to cancellations. That is a decision that is done primarily by the airlines in consultation with the FAA. Secondly, with regard to passengers who might find themselves being accidental guests at our airports as a result of the severe weather. Again, the airlines have responsibility for ensuring that they are addressing stranded passengers, and so we encourage passengers to reach out to their airlines in the event that they find themselves in a circumstance where they are held at the airports due to cancellations or quite possibly delays. And so we work closely with the airlines with regard to ensuring that they have the necessary information with regard to the potential for stranded passengers, but that is primarily the responsibility of the airlines.
Even putting out cots. In past years, we've seen cots put out in certain areas and certain terminals. I mean, is that something that the airlines is responsible for?
Yeah, the airlines will make the decision as to the method that they employ with regard to assisting their passengers that are stranded.
But I guess is the airport prepared for potentially dozens or hundreds of people to be spending the night at O'Hare if that happens?
Yes, we are.
Anybody else? You know, just one, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure if I didn't mean to interrupt, but it sounds like, but Mike, you could correct this, like, so there's less snow coming, but does that mean that but with the snow and the wind chill, does that make it as dangerous, or, and what makes it a blizzard? Is it the amount of snow? Is it what happens to it while it's falling?
I'm going to hand it over to Mike in a second here, but I'll just say that snow for this particular storm that we've been monitoring, you know, it's going to change. It could change in the next few hours, and certainly Mike will keep us updated. But the high winds is something that we're particularly paying close attention to. Coming off the lake on Lakeshore Drive, you can see how Lakeshore Drive can get impacted by blowing snow, whiteout conditions. We've certainly seen that in 2011. That's something that Street and Sanitation, OEMC, and our other infrastructure departments coordinate most recently as of last Friday. So these are things that we discuss. From my perspective, from our perspective here, cold and high winds can create a situation, and especially on Lakeshore Drive, and that's something we're paying particularly close attention to. Mike?
In terms of your question about what constitutes a blizzard, it actually doesn't have anything to do with falling snow. The criteria are 35 mile per hour or greater winds, combining with either falling or blowing and drifting snow, creating visibility of a quarter mile or less for 3 or more hours is the technical definition. Our concern here is not about the amount of falling snow. There's going to be enough snow that, combining with the winds, to create treacherous driving conditions at minimum. As you go to outer areas, more open areas, significant blowing and drifting is going to be possible to the level where people may get stuck in drifts and then perhaps be stranded in the now bitterly cold temperatures. Temperature values falling to around 0, wind chills 25 below to 30 below 0, and you've got an especially dangerous situation. So between the travel potential impacts with the falling temperatures, the snow that will be falling, the snow that will be blowing, and the falling temperatures, we have a very dangerous situation despite the amount of snow being something that we commonly see multiple times per winter. We don't always see this degree of wind, we don't always see this degree of temperature drop, and we don't always see this extended period of that cold following a windy, near blizzard-like situation like this. So it's very dangerous. We want to emphasize, don't pay attention to the snow amounts in terms of that being your decision maker. It's going to snow, the roads are going to be bad at times, especially because of the blowing and the drifting and the extreme amount of wind that we're going to have.
Could I follow up with Mr. Stallings? So does that make things significantly more challenging for you guys? Because while you've covered a certain area, if it's blowing snow, does that kind of undo all the good work you've done?
Yeah, that's going to happen. But we're going to be out there. We're going to have full fleet out there, 300-plus vehicles out there to try to keep up with it. But just to level set this for everybody is, as they're mentioning, whether it's 2 inches or 4 inches or 6 inches, it's going to create problems on the roads because they're going to cover up. People are going to shovel, the wind's going to come, and it's not going to look like you shoveled. We're going to be in those situations. So I take this time to always talk to your young drivers. We have drivers that are going to drive to high school. We have drivers that are going to go last-minute Christmas shopping. Talk to those young drivers because they're going to see a perfectly clear road they're going to drive down, and a block later, it's going to be whiteout conditions possibly. So just take that time and everybody just give each other space. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd say just have patience during this storm. Any other questions? Okay, I think we're a wrap. Everybody, once again, happy holidays. I want to thank everybody for being up here today, and Merry Christmas to you all, and have a good day. Thank you.
No, it's all right. It's all done. No.
Poor Tom, yo. I didn't know.
I figured that was like